Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Today we are going to talk about the Azure DNS. Now, Azure DNS is the hosting service for DNS domains that's provide the name resolution by using the Microsoft Infrastructure Service. So it's provide us the same set of service which we eventually do with the private or public DNS. So let's say if we want to have any kind of name resolution for the public network, we need to go ahead and buy the DNS for that, and then we need to buy a domain service. So with the Azure DNS we can get the DNS service for the name resolution, which will be allow us to use the Microsoft Azure infrastructure, which is integrated with the Azure DNS for the name resolution. Okay. Now another benefit is like by hosting your domain on Azure, you will be going to have a one single portal from where you can manage your all the other resources and the Azure DNS. So you don't need to basically go on the different portals to manage your DNS and the other resources. So by using the Azure DNS, you will be going to use a same portal to manage your resources and manage your Azure DNS. Well, here is the some of the advantage. So it support any kind of records like a record, CNAME record, MX record, text record, NS record, SRV, which is also called as service record. All of those recorded are supported. It's a seamless integration, so there is no need to worried about any integration with your virtual network. So if you want to have a virtual network integrated with your Azure DNS, that's something you can do it. It's easy to deploy. It's just a simple DNS which we need to create, and then we can basically integrate with our public domain which we have purchased, or with the private, or for the internal network as well through our virtual network integration. So pretty much straightforward, and it allows us to use a same way of DNS which we use with the Active Directory domain service DNS integrated. So let's say if we don't have Active Directory and we don't have a DNS in our environment, and we want to take the advantage of Azure DNS, we can take that advantage by creating a private zone, and that will be allow us to give us the name resolution. Well, this is how a name resolution happen. So you will going to have a Azure DNS. In that you will be going to register your domain, and then in the backend there will be a name servers which will be going to forward your request to the backend server based on the DNS record which you have created in the Azure DNS. Well, we have a two types of Azure DNS. One is the Azure Public DNS, and another one is the Azure Private DNS. So what is the difference in between both? Let's start with the Azure Private DNS. So Azure Private DNS is basically allows you to have a name resolution within a network or within the paired network. So let's say if you don't have a ADDS integrated DNS service and you want to take the advantage of DNS service in your environment, you can go ahead and create the Azure Private DNS to do that. At the same time, Azure Public DNS basically allows you for the name resolution on the public network. So in this case, you need to purchase a domain, and then you can integrate the domain with the Azure Public DNS, and you can take the advantage of that for the name resolution. Well, next is the case study. So we are going to cover three case studies with the different scenarios. The first scenario is with the single VNet with the Azure DNS. So here what is going to be happen, you will be going to have the auto register enabled on the DNS, and with the virtual network integration, in this case whatever is going to be happen, so whenever a new VM will be get created, it will be going to be registered that VM in the DNS, and it will be going to create a DNS record with the with the VM name dot domain name which you have defined on the DNS, and with that one it will be automatically going to take the advantage of Azure DNS by using the name resolution. Another one is the name resolution across the multiple virtual networks. So if, let's say if you have a multiple virtual networks and you want to take the advantage of same domain name which you have registered for Azure DNS, then you can go ahead and take that as well. So what you can do, you can register a one network with the Azure DNS, and for the another network you can go ahead and manually create the record as well, and which way you can take the advantage of DNS resolution in the both network. Another is the split horizon functionality, so which allows to use a Azure DNS with the combination of public and private zone. So in this case, what is going to be happen? Let's say if we have a VM with the public IP and the private IP, and for the internal and for the external request, we want to use a same DNS which we have created. We can take that advantage as well. That's called a split horizon functionality, in which we will be going to create a two separate zone. One is the public zone and another one is the private zone. And with that, we can basically request for the DNS name resolution for internal and external request. Well, here is the cost. So Azure DNS cost is basically given by two elements. One is the number of jobs and another one is the number of DNS query received. So you can see in the snapshot. So for the DNS shown, it will be get charged for uh, 50 cent per zone for first 25, and then you need to pay 10 cent per zone after you cross with the 25 hosted DNS zones limit. And then you will be get paid based on the queries which is coming to the DNS or which is resolved by the DNS. Well, let's move to the demo. So in the demo, I will be going to show you how you can go ahead and create the zones and how you can go ahead and integrate that with the virtual network, or how your VM will be get registered automatically with the Azure DNS. Or in case of if that will not be able to perform that, I'll show you how you can go ahead and create the DNS record. So let's move to the demo. So in demo, I am already logged in my Azure portal. So here, what I need to do, I need to search for private DNS zone. So in my case, I'm going to create a private DNS zone. The reason is because I am using it with my virtual network, or I don't only need to use for the internal DNS request. So let's go ahead and create the private DNS zone. So in my case, I'm going to put it in the one of the resource group which I have already created, and then let's define the name dot local. It says the local is basically used for multicast, so let's change it to the .com. Well, it's going to be in the AS2S, and let's go ahead and create. So you just need to define the name which you want to use for this DNS zone, and that's it. You can go ahead and create it. So this is a private zone. So definitely this will be only going to work for the internal network or over the VNet only. So once this DNS zone is get created, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and have this integrated with our virtual network, and then I will be going to deploy a one machine in which we will be going to use this Azure DNS for the name resolution. So this deployment is taking a little time. So let's wait for this deployment to get completed, and then we'll move forward. All right, so our deployment is get completed. So let's go ahead and click on go to resource. So this will be redirect to the resource which we have created. So you will see this is the SOA record, which is a by default created, which is also called as service of authority record. Now another thing is what we have a VNet link. So we would be able to create a link here as well. So here we can select the link name, we can select the virtual network, and we would be able to create the virtual network link as well. So in my case, I don't have any virtual network. So let's go ahead and create the virtual network. So let's go to the resource group and then click on the resource group in which we have created a DNS zone. And let's go ahead and create a virtual network. Okay, no, sorry. I think I have typed the wrong one. It's going to be Azure Virtual Network. Click on create. and it's going to be in the same resource group where I have deployed the Azure DNS, and it's going to be the VNet name. That's fine. Let's keep it as it is. I'm using the default settings. That's it. And click on. That's it. I'm just doing the name. So this is my name of this VNet, and then this is the address space I'm using, which is the default one, and this is the subnet which I have created. Now click on create. So once this VNet is get created, we'll go ahead and link this with the Azure Private DNS John, which we have created, and then I'll go ahead and create a VM, and I'll show you that VM will be automatically get registered in the Azure DNS. Now let's go back to the private zone which we have created, which is this. So if we go here back in the virtual network links, we need to click on here add. We need to define the name. So let's keep it as simple. Uh, VNet link. Well, it says no virtual network. Why? Because in my case, I already have. Hmm. Okay. So in my case, I already have a VNet deployed. I don't know why it's not picking up here. Let's go ahead and refresh this page one more time. And I think we would be able to create. Yep, it's here. Now after doing the refresh, it's showing us the virtual network. And let's define the name for this link. And let's go ahead and enable the auto registration. So if we haven't take this auto registration enabled, what is going to be happen, we need to create a manual record for with the VMs which we are creating in this virtual network. But if we have enabled this auto registration, it will be automatically going to be create the record based on the VM which we have created in this network, right? So let's go ahead and create this link, and once this is done, we'll go ahead and create a virtual machine in the same virtual network which we have linked with this private DNS shown, and it will be automatically go ahead and get that record created in this DNS job. So let's wait for this integration to get completed, and then we'll move to the VM creation part. All right, this link is still in progress, so let's wait this link to be get succeeded, and we'll move forward. All right, this link is completed. Now let's go ahead and deploy the VM. So it's going to be a virtual machine, so I'm deploying just a Windows machine for test to show you how the auto registration happen. So it's in the same resource group where I have deployed the rest of the resources. That's fine. I need to define the username and password. That's fine. Okay, networking become a very important. So this is the virtual network, and this is a subnet in which I'm deploying this virtual machine. Let's keep it with default because we just need to see how how this VM will be get registered in the Azure DNS. So it's going to be have a record with the VM name dot a domain name which I have defined in the DNS job. So let's wait for this VM creation completed. Once this is completed, we'll go back to the private zone which we have deployed, and we'll see if we get a DNS record created for this VM. So as soon as the NIC is got deployed, most probably we will be able to see the DNS record in the DNS zone which we have created. So let's wait for that. Once NIC is get deployed, which is also called a network interface, that will get deployed, we'll go back to the DNS zone and see if we have a DNS record created. So all right, so network interface is deployed. So let's go back and go back to the private zone which we have created, which is this. And okay, so this has been not having the DNS record registered yet. So let's give it a few more seconds, or maybe we'll wait for this deployment to get completed. Because once the VM is get created, I think that that time this private DNS will be going to have that DNS record. So let's wait for go back and get wait for this deployment to get completed. So VM is in currently in deploying state. So let's wait for uh, dep get this deployment completed, and then we'll move to the private zone which we have created, and we'll see if we are able to see a new record created. Because earlier when the nick is get created, we go back, we move to the Azure private DNS which we have created, and when we was not able to see that DNS record. So let's this our deployment or the VM deployment is get completed first, and then we'll see. All right, so this VM is created. The deployment is get completed. So let's go to the private zone, and you see we have a DNS record created automatically. This is our VM name, and this is our DNS zone name which we have created. Right. So this is how the auto uh, registration work. At the same time, if you want to create any kind of record, you just need to click on set record, and then you can have a plenty of other records which you can go ahead and create for your private DNS or the public DNS. Or if you want to create a CNAME record, MX record for email exchange, PTR record, service record, text record, all of those are supported here. So you just need to uh, select that record. You need to put the values, you need to put TTL, and you would be able to create those record here within Azure DNS. Well, that's what I have for you in the demo. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for upcoming videos as well. And if you need any kind of help, please feel free to reach us. Thank you.